told them this morning, I'm not the most serious person in the world. I love to just have I like to have a good time. I like to laugh and relax. I like to start out with a joke. So I'll do this one. It's titled Dirt Poor. One day a group of scientists got together and decided that man had come a long way, no longer needed God. So they picked one scientist to go and tell him that they were done with him. The scientist walked up to God and said, God, we've decided we no longer need you. We're to the point we can clone people, do many miraculous things. So why don't you just go out and get lost? God listened very patiently and kindly to the man, and after the scientist was done talking to God, God said, very well, how about this? Let's say we have a man-making contest. To which the scientist replied, okay, great. But God asked, now we're going to do this the way I did back when I made Adam. The scientist said, no problem, and bent down and grabbed himself a handful of dirt. God just looked at him and said, no, you get your own dirt. All right. As many of you know, this is Super Bowl Sunday. And when I was growing up, my family, we were Cowboy fans. Moved to New Orleans, and everybody down there in the world is a Saints fan. But I grew up hearing the thing that the Cowboys are not in the Super Bowl. There is no Super Bowl. So don't worry, there's not one tonight. I'm just kidding. As you know, it's the Patriots and Giants playing, and I did not plan lessons over patriotism. I'm not a Patriots fan, so it wasn't intentional, but that's just how it happened. What is patriotism? Patriotism is showing or aimed at arousing love for one's country or kingdom. In sports sport, to one's team, or to God, we need to show our undevoted love and everything we can to God. As we know now, times are hard for everybody. Everything's getting crazy. Also, we're going to elections. If you've seen any debates, I mean, it gets crazy. And at this time, and everything, we need to show as much love and as much as we can, to God and to whoever leads the country, because we need to find and pick somebody that is going to lead us in the right direction. On the Statue of Liberty, Emma Lazarus, 1903, wrote, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send those, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Emma Lazarus wrote this, but and you see the parallel with God. God is saying, give me everybody, and I want my people to be happy. I want them to succeed. I want them to live a good life, much as Emma Lazarus wrote. I will give you a side note. The Statue of Liberty was not intended for America originally. We were a second thought. Okay. And with this, you have community. It's how to live together under God. In communities, we think of the areas where we live. And something that I don't remember, when I was growing up, we didn't have these, and I know a lot of places have, block parties, they have community awareness. The area where I grew up, I was related to half the town. So the whole town was my community, and my uncle lived beside us, my granddad lived down the road, and so you couldn't get away with anything, you couldn't do anything, but the communities took care of each other as well. And that's one thing. I'm a small town person. Like I said, my family, we lived in New Orleans for 2 years. That is to me big city. Down there, they don't think that city. If it's more than like 5,000 people in a town, that is big city to me. I said, when you have to drive more than 10 minutes to get to Walmart, that's huge. Okay. But community, not only outside, but inside the church as well. We need to be one group instead of, just a whole bunch of individuals running around everywhere trying to fix everything. If you come together as one, it's a lot easier to get things done. One, you're allowed. You can. If somebody has an idea of how to do things, you get everybody together, and somebody may have a better way of doing it. You may have a better way of learning from different people, and that's how you learn that who's good at certain things. Psalms 133:1. How good and pleasant it is when brothers live together in unity. I can't imagine a place where there's chaos. And we see it a lot. It happens everywhere you go. There's chaos. But in that chaos, you tend to get probably some of the strongest communities, the strongest togetherness of people that you will find, because they seek refuge. They seek what's good in this community, and in this, it makes them happy. Romans 12:10, be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourself. As we know, when you go out, you can't go up to somebody and say, I'm bigger, better, faster, smarter than you are. Now listen to me. Who wants to listen to that? I don't want somebody coming up to me and say, I'm smart, you're dumb, I'm big, you're little. And because as soon as they say that, I'm done. I don't really want to listen. Because not only have they offended me, instead of going with the Bible said, they put themselves above you. And we are told to put ourselves, to put others above us, and to serve and to do what He asks. If we honestly do that and do what He says in putting things, we can build the strongest community and the strongest form of patriotism towards God than we could even imagine. 1 Corinthians 12:12-13. The body is a unit. Though it is made up of many parts, and though all its parts are many, they form one body. So it is with Christ, for we are all baptized by one Spirit into one body, whether Jews, Greeks, slave or free, we are all given one Spirit to drink. Wouldn't it be nice if everybody could just, everybody could just get along? I hate to say it, but wouldn't it be nice? Especially, and I'll tell you this, when you hurt and you start getting attention at one spot, does anybody else have where something else on you starts hurting, something else starts bothering? Sometimes it happens, but we have to just get everything together, get it all together, and it starts working out. Let's see, we have to love to attain unity, to attain and to get what we're getting. Colossians 3:12-44 and past. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. I'm going to stop right there. And we all have trouble with this. As a people, we are not always the most patient and kind at all times. We might be during more times than others, but how many people, when you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off, how many of y'all think that you want to be kind and patient to that person? Especially, when they cut you off and they slow down in front of you. And you're like, what? Why? You have to be a little patient. Maybe the transmission just went out in their car and they couldn't help it when they got around you. We don't always think that way. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. This has split probably more churches and split more families and things like that, and communities and countries than I think, anything put together. It's hard to forgive each other, especially in church settings. One person makes you mad, and then you start talking, that person whom you made mad starts talking to others, and they talk to others, and they talk to others, instead of talking to the person they should have spoke to in the beginning, the person who made them mad. And working out, forgiving each other, it breaks everything up. It breaks that body up. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. I know God forgave you, and if He can forgive the many, many, many mistakes that we are going to make every single day, why can't you forgive that one person for the one mistake that they did to you? God forgives you for the probably the hundreds we've made, throughout 10 minutes of our life. We ask Him to forgive us. It seems easy, but why can't we just ask the person, look, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Will you forgive me? And I can tell you, a lot of times they might say, I don't want to speak to you right now. Leave me alone and go away. But the best thing is to do, just try. Don't get on their nerves so much where you just keep harassing every 5 minutes. But just try. And a lot of times when you make that effort, good comes from it. 1 John 4, 7, 1 John 4, 7, and 21 and more. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. And He has given us this command. Whoever loves God must also love his brother. I can tell you, the second says, if you love God, you're going to love your brother. If you hate God, if you hate your brother, you're also going to hate God. Because we're told to love. We're told to be compassionate, be kind to each other. When we go on mission trips, we don't go down there and just throw ourselves and say, all right, all you sinners, let's go. You all need to change right now. What happens? These missionaries, a lot of times, they get down there, they learn the languages first. They try to learn the cultures of the people. They try to, fit in a way where it's not gonna mess up what, or change the way they believe in God, or change the way that they worship. But they're at least learning why these people are the way they are. Just like we need to do here. We need to learn why each of us does the thing, we do the things we do. Why we are the way we are. We spend so much time saying that person's wrong instead of, okay, let's back up and say, I want to take time to figure out what's going on in this person's life and see if we can work something out. Because they may have something that's happened to them, and it just messes them up for the rest of their life. God's love will take care of us when others can't. There are times to where you feel like you are just nobody's out there for you. God is always out there for us. He's always out there to help us, to protect us, to save us, to give us something to look forward to. And this is, if we could just, get that in mind, it helps get through the hard times. 1 John 3:1, how great the love of the Father has